Hey, so we are back in Spiral Abyss, this time on floor 12. This one is going to be a little bit different than the other ones because this one is not fully free to play. This is free to play for everybody except Bennett because I needed to have a second healer on the second team. I tried this for about 4 hours on just the first chamber alone and I could not do it at all. So if that's a deal breaker for you, I'm sorry, I could not do it, but there's that. So this is mostly just going to be like what you can do in Spiral Abyss floor 12. So starting here in the first chamber, we're going to be dealing with 3 new Inazuma enemies, and they are samurais. These guys are immune to any like suction effect, such as like Venti or Sucrose or anything like that, which is really cool. But the main thing about these guys is they are hard to group up. So running over here to the left side of the wall, or to the left wall, is going to get all of them to rush over to you, and from here, this beautiful camera angle, I know. A lot of the time they're going to group up right here, so one of the best parts, if not the best ways to deal with this, is with a freeze comp, because freeze comps are generally really good for very mobile enemies, and these guys are incredibly mobile and annoying, so if you can group all 3 together, it is possible. It's very hard for me to do it here, but it is possible. You can group them all together like that and freeze them and just wail on them like that. I do skip ahead because it takes a while. It's basically the same thing. So after you kill those 3 guys, we're going to have 2 big samurai guys. Now, the biggest takeaway of these guys is that they are a duo. So if you kill one of them and the other one is still alive, the one that is still alive will recover 50% of his HP. He will become harder to kill, I believe, and he does more damage. He's basically more aggressive once his friend dies. So what you have to do, you absolutely have to kill both of them at the same time. And that's easy with a freeze comp, because freeze comps give you a few more seconds to deal with all of that. Alternatively, you can just spread out your damage evenly and then kill them both with a big nuke. But with a free-to-play team, we don't really have access to a big nuke, so we have to slowly whittle them down and then freeze them together at the end and kill them together, which I will do. I will skip ahead. So you can see right here, the guy on the end actually dies way earlier than I thought he would, so I really need to kill this guy as fast as possible. And I just barely do it. You can see for a couple of frames there, he actually did recover 50% HP, but it still gave it to me. I should not have gotten that, but I got it, whatever. So here in the second half, this was actually the reason why I could not do it with a full free-to-play team, was because this first wave, not that bad. We're dealing with 2 pyro agents. It's not like anything that we haven't already experienced, so this is fine. This is whatever. The main thing is the second wave, which is going to be including a new enemy, a new Inazuma enemy again, is the Mirror Maiden. Now, once we get to her, I will explain like what is going on with her. But for here, I did have to use Bennett. So I know this is not like the most optimal team comp, especially because I'm using Pyro against Pyro agents, but it's fine. We end up getting through it. But this was like the damage on this the second chamber is absolutely ridiculous. So once we kill this second pyro agent, the Mirror Maiden is going to spawn on the top, and we're going to have an Electro Assistant Mage spawn at the bottom. Neither of them has an aura, which is great, but they're still equally annoying. So right at the start here, we are going to want to get rid of the Electro thing. Also, I did not mention that at all. The Electro thing occasionally will infuse Electro onto enemies and make them immune to, well, not immune, but resistant to interruption and take less damage. So get rid of that with Pyro or Cryo. So the Mirror Maiden, we're going to ult her to the back of the room to get her and the Electro Assistant Mage together. So right there, that attack, that triangular attack, that if you get hit by that, restart this floor if you are trying to clear this in under 7 minutes. Because that move right there is the main thing that makes the Mirror Maiden so bad. I did get hit by it, but that's for demonstration purposes, obviously. So when she marks your character, you'll see on your character, there's like a reticle looking thing, diagonal reticle. That means your character is marked. There is no way to get rid of that. That triangular attack, that's how she marks you. Allegedly, there is another attack that she can do, but I've never seen it, so I have no idea. But when you do get marked, she will be immune to resist, or she will be immune to interruption. So you cannot CC her. And I think that's when she starts doing that cage attack that you'll see every now and then. So like she'll trap you in a cage, and then the Assistant Mage will just bombard you with electro attacks like that. So if you do get marked, consider restarting the floor. That triangular attack, you cannot iframe through it, like through dashing. You cannot ult through it with your iframes through your ult, and you cannot shield through it. So if you get hit, if your character physically gets hit by that, you will be marked. That's just a thing in Genshin with how marking works. But she becomes incredibly more annoying to deal with if you get marked, so don't, forehead. But seriously, just try not to get marked. You actually have to physically get out of the way of that attack to not get marked. So that one is honestly the hardest part of floor 12. Well, kind of. We're going to start here in the second chamber, and here, the beginning, pretty tame. We're just going to have two Minotaurs. One is going to have an Electro Aura, and one of them is going to have a Pyro Aura. The Electro Aura is going to have the triangular Electro Ball thing that like shows up in front of your character. And then the Pyro Aura is just going to be a damage over time. But this is just killing two Minotaurs. Nothing really special here, so I am going to cut ahead. And in the second half, after we kill these two Minotaurs, we're going to be dealing with a Hydro Abyss Mage that spawns in the back, and then an Electro Lateral that spawns in the front. Both of them do have auras as well. The Electro Lateral's aura is just going to drain your energy, which doesn't really matter because the gimmick of this floor is that like every 10 seconds you'll gain a ton of energy and then no energy. So him draining your energy doesn't really matter that much. And then the Hydro Abyss Mage is going to have the bubbles that appear every now and then. So to get rid of the Hydro Abyss Mage shield, we're going to use Cryo. And we're going to kill him first because he is way easier to kill than the Lateral. The Lateral will get an Electro Shield, and you can take that out with Pyro or Cryo. But I will be skipping ahead until the Abyss Mage dies. And then from here on, it is really just killing a Lateral. So eventually I will be skipping ahead with this one as well. But a freeze comp does help here too, just to get the Minotaurs together, which is weird because Ayaka just released, and it's like, how can you make a freeze comp viable? Or like, how can you make it specifically a freeze comp, like, favorable for that? I have no idea. But whatever, we're going to move on to the second half. And this second half is just one enemy. It sounds fine, but it's not. It's the Magu Kenki? I don't know. The Kinky Mongoose is what I call him. So for the first 10 seconds of this match, you cannot hit him. He's immune for 10 whole seconds. Thank you, miHoYo, for putting this enemy in the floor. So you can, he's a world boss, so if you wanted to practice, you can practice on him. One thing to note is that at around 75% HP, he will go into an invulnerability state. So watch out for that, to not waste all your ults on that, because it is incredibly annoying. And again, he's immune for like 5 seconds at that point, which again, really cool. Thank you, miHoYo. So even though I do have Bennett on this team, this one still took me a couple of tries, because this guy, like, dishes out so much damage. He does so much damage, it's crazy. So if you do have a shield character like Diona, or even if you have Zhongli, definitely put him in the second half because he is very needed here. So right here you're going to see him in a little bit go into his invulnerability state. It's very obvious when he actually goes into it. He'll like fly up into the air and he'll be like surrounded with wind or something right here. In that sequence right there, he's completely immune to all attacks, and apparently a little bit after as well. So from here on out, he's going to be doing, he's going to have like this clone of himself that attacks in tandem with him. So basically every single attack that he does will be doubled. So once you dodge the first one, like a second later, you're going to have to dodge a second one, unless you have a shield, which again, a shield is very helpful here. And the last attack that he does is that one. That one doesn't really do that much damage, so it's not really like that big of a deal, but it is a lot of just hacking and slashing with non-existent damage because this is a free-to-play team. So I'm going to skip ahead there. And then we are going to move on to the third chamber. So here in the third chamber, this is much more tame than anything we've ever experienced. So right at the start here, we're going to be dealing with a Ruin Hunter. We've fought these guys how many times at this point? You know how to fight a Ruin Hunter. You're on floor 12. You don't really need my help. Occasionally, or eventually, he will go into his like missile phase. He'll like fly into the sky. You can pop him once with an arrow if that ever happens, but if you do kill him fast enough, that will never happen. So once we kill him, we're going to be dealing with 3 like Ruin babies. I don't know what these things are. You're going to want to focus on the one on the right, actually. We're going to have one that looks like a squid, one that looks like a shield, and then one that looks like a blaster. The blaster is the one you're going to want to focus on because that one will actively try to run away from you, whereas the shield guy and the squid guy will go up close to you. So if you are worried about time, focus on the blaster because then the other two are going to get hit in your attacks because they're going to go closer to you. Just focus on the blaster. You're going to be hitting the other two at the same time. I do skip ahead because it takes forever, but overload, electrocharge work really well there. Go for that. And then the second half is basically the exact same thing. Instead of a Ruin Hunter, we're going to be fighting a Ruin Guard. We fought these guys even more times, so you already know how to fight this guy. Not really a big deal here. You can hit him in the eye to disable him, but it's a lot more time efficient to just attack him while he's still up. So I do skip ahead. Once you kill him, we're going to have like a snake Ruin baby thing on the left, another one on the right, and then the top one is going to be another squid. As soon as they spawn, you're going to want to go either to the left or to the right because then the other one will move over to you like he's doing here immediately, I believe. So you don't have to wait like the 3 seconds or whatever, how long it is until he actually does come over. So focus on the snake thing, and then the squid one is going to come over to you all the time. I think he's a jellyfish. I keep calling him a squid. Sorry if that bothers you. But again, it is a lot of the same thing. Overload works really well here. Electrocharge works really well here. Freeze does as well. I do skip ahead because it takes forever. We got 0 stars. One of the best Abyss runs you will ever see, but this is a free-to-play team. Were you really expecting me to get any stars? Sorry if you were, but this was mostly just telling you like what you can do in floor 12 to get through it, any like strategies that you can use to be more time efficient. So I hope this helped you. If you enjoyed the video, hope you're having a fantastic day. Like and subscribe if you want. I would really appreciate it. Tickle my bell if you want, and I will see you in the next one, which is Yoimiya, because she's coming out pretty soon. Bye-bye.